Play is a word that everyone knows, and yet no one knows how to define it. I'm sure you can think of different forms of play that you've participated in, such as sports, board games, hanging out with friends, or even going to the movies. What about animals? Animals play. I bet you've played with a cat or a dog before, or at least seen one playing. Can you think of any animals that don't play? Or do all animals play? Well, that is what I'm here to tell you about.
When you look up the word play on Google, you get the definition that play is to engage in an activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than a serious or practical purpose. This is a pretty generic definition that could define any number of things, but today we're going to be talking about animal play and the differences or similarities between animals in the wild and domesticated animals. Play is an ambiguous term that can have multiple meanings because there are multiple ways to play. Because we're going to be talking about animal play, our definition is going to have to be a little more specific than the one that Google provided. For the purposes of this video, I've provided one of the many definitions of play to help grasp the concept, which is that play is repeated, seemingly non-functional behavior differing from more adaptive versions structurally, contextually, or developmentally and initiated when the animal is in a relaxed, unstimulating, or low-stress setting. When you think of animal play, which animals usually come to mind? Are they domestic animals or wild? Domestic animals such as dogs and cats are usually a pretty popular animal to think of when thinking about animal play. But why is that? One of the biggest factors of play determined by animals is time. Animals with more time seem to play more. The animals who don't have to spend as much time looking for food or watching out for predators are usually the animals that have more time to play. Because domesticated animals such as dogs and cats, and especially indoor cats, don't have to worry about surviving nearly as much as animals in the wild, they have more time to play. Dogs and cats also don't have to worry about looking or hunting for food, although sometimes they do. Let's look at the definition we have of play for cats. Cats who hunt mice or other critters aren't doing it for survival, according to the definition we have. Although catching and eating mice seems like a functional behavior, it's not, because most cats have a constant supply of food provided by their owner. Sometimes cats catch their food and don't eat it, which is definitely not seemingly functional. Cats often repeat the act of hunting prey. The cats are often in a low-stress situation when they're catching their prey, such as in the safety of the house.
Take the cat in this video, for example. This cat looks very relaxed and is not playing with the mouse because it wants to eat it. It's playing with the mouse for fun.
Dogs, like cats, also participate in a lot of play due to their low-stress environment, such as fetch or tug of war.
Now that we've talked about domestic animals, let's switch over to animals in the wild. Wild animals such as dolphins are a common animal that play a lot. Dolphins play in many ways. They play with each other and with objects that they find in the ocean, such as seaweed or sand. They also play with other marine life by chasing them, but with no intention to kill them. There are many other animals that play, as well as dolphins, and almost all mammals play, but there are also other non-mammals we may not think about as playing, such as certain frogs, lizards, spiders, and even some fish. Although, not all animals have been proven to demonstrate play. One theory as to why some animals don't play is because certain animals, such as snakes, who are cold-blooded, are unable to play due to a slower metabolism. So if some animals play and some don't, then why do some animals play? Baby animals show the most signs of play and then play less and less as they grow older. Why is that? A lot of animals in the wild play to develop the essential skills they need to survive. They might play fight with one another to stimulate memory in their bodies of how to fight when they are older. Some animals play to form social bonds, which is another form of survival. Animals that live, hunt, or gather food in groups have a greater likelihood of surviving than animals who are on their own. Some animals, such as a lot of ape and monkey species, have an even more sophisticated form of play, such as playing pretend, like children do. Along with playing pretend, monkeys and apes also play to relieve stress, as do many other wild animals. So if wild animals then are playing for practice for survival, then why are domestic animals playing? Domestic animals could be playing for the same reasons as wild animals are, but we don't really know. Maybe they still have an inherent survival instinct that makes them play because they don't need their skills for survival, but who knows? This leads to my last question. If animals who are wild are playing for survival and domestic animals are playing due to old instinct, then why do humans play? Well, some people play for fun, some people play to de-stress, and some people play things such as sports for the exercise. People, like animals, also play for socialization purposes, but then what are we socializing for? Are we also playing for survival? Is the reason that children and baby animals play because of an instinct to teach them how to survive when they grow older and are fully developed? Are adults and older animals too busy trying to survive that they do not have as much time to play? Is it possible that animals could be more like us than we thought and they are actually playing for pleasure and for fun? Or are we more like animals? Because play is so ambiguous, it's hard to know what its true function is. All we can do in the meantime is continue to study animals and study play and why people and animals play Until we find out what the real function is.